It's the year 2022. People are wondering, is 2008 going to happen again? In other words, we saw in 2007 and 2008, we saw a housing crash. The bubble popped. People bought homes at high prices, hoping that it was going to keep on climbing, and all of a sudden prices plummeted. And so the question you may be asking if you're in the market to buy a home or sell a home is, what's about to happen? Are housing prices about to completely plummet? Is this a terrible time to get into real estate? Here's the quick answer. Absolutely not. I'm going to give you a few reasons why now is still a great time to get into real estate. Here's the first one. As far as the housing market goes, in 2008, people had almost no equity in their homes. As for my family, I remember we were young and we wanted a boat as a family, and so we actually took some equity out of our homes to get a boat. That's what a lot of people did in 2007, 2008. People were taking equity out of their homes, they were pulling a line of credit, and they were buying things that they wanted. Because at that point in time, our generation hadn't really seen a lot of repercussions. Or on the other side, there were people that maybe shouldn't have been approved to buy a home, or maybe as expensive of a home as they purchased. And what ended up happening was they weren't able to make mortgage payments. So people were getting approved on homes that they really shouldn't have been able to be approved on. Maybe they should have had more of a budget home. So what that meant on either side is that people had an extremely low amount of equity in their homes. They really didn't own a large portion. They hadn't paid a lot of the mortgage off. The bank still owned a lot of their mortgage. And so the banks continued to do that over and over again. They were giving loans to everyone. They were giving lines of credit to everyone. Versus in 2022, we're not seeing the same thing. Banks are not as quick, lenders are not as quick to approve loans, right? So people that can actually afford mortgages are the ones that are getting approved, first of all. And secondly, because housing prices soared so much in the past 2 to 3 years because of the pandemic, people have a much larger amount of equity in their homes. So 2008, people didn't have a lot of equity. They didn't own a lot of their house. 2022, most people own a much larger amount of their home. They've paid off more of their mortgage. They have a greater amount of equity. So what that means is that it's a lot less likely that people are going to lose their homes. It's a lot less likely that there's going to be foreclosures. So if it's less likely that there's going to be foreclosures, if it's less likely that people are going to lose their homes, what that means is greater market stability. 2022, we are seeing greater stability than in 2008. Here's the second thing. In 2008, there was a huge housing surplus. They built around 2 million homes in 2008 in the United States. Now, we are not even seeing close to that many numbers. So in 2008, they were building all these homes. Everyone was getting approved to buy homes, right? And so everyone was owning a home, because who doesn't want to own a home? Banks were approving everyone, right? Versus now, we are seeing something completely opposite. We are actually seeing housing insecurity. We don't have enough houses in the United States for our increasing population. So then we had a certain demand in 2008, right? But our supply was actually a lot more, right? Because people weren't able to afford. So then the supply was huge. The banks got hit hard because all of a sudden they had to foreclose on a bunch of homes and they couldn't put anyone in those homes. In 2022, we are seeing that people want to buy homes, right? But the thing is the supply is far less than what it was in 2008. For example, in 2008 in Denver, there was around 20,000 active listings at a time, okay? Mid 2008, right? For us, right? Mid 2022, we are around 5,000, a fourth. So population has increased, okay? Obviously, moving forward 14 years, but the supply is dropping because we're not building as many homes and we have more people, right? So what do we know about the basics of supply and demand, right? If the supply is way more than the demand, then we're going to see the market beginning to crash. And that's what we saw in 2008. But in 2022, we were seeing something completely opposite. We have people that want to buy homes, okay? But we don't have enough homes. All right, so the first point I gave you was equity. people had way less equity in 2008 versus now. Okay, we're not going to see as many foreclosures in 2022. The second thing has to do with supply and demand, right? We are seeing a fourth as many listings in 2022 in Denver as what we saw in 2008, right? However, we have way more people. We have a greater demand, but less of a supply, which means greater market stability in 2022. Here's the last thing. In 2008, the crash brought on about an 18% price correction. So if you bought a home that was 100 grand, you might have saw your home drop down to 82 grand. 18% price correction in 2008. 2022, what we first have to preface before I talk about a correction is we have to recognize that homes went up on average 50% through COVID. Because the prices of homes absolutely soared through the roof, prices went up on average 50%. So here's the other thing. Some people think that there might be a price correction. Data analysts think at the very worst, there may be a 5% price correction, okay? However, some people think because of what I just told you, the deal with supply and demand, that it's actually possible that even though the market is normalizing and it's changing and it's beginning to correct from the pandemic, it's still possible that prices are gonna increase. It's possible, okay? I'm not sure if they're gonna increase or decrease, but even if they do decrease, even if they decrease 5%, which is nothing like that 18% in 2008, even if they decrease 5%, a quote that I love is this. You will always wish that you would have bought a home 7 years ago. It's always the best time to buy a house 7 years ago. So let me tell you this, if you are looking in the market to buy a home, but you're trying to wait on the interest rates or wait on the prices, how long are you gonna wait? What if the market goes up? What if interest rates only drop a couple percent? Which they probably won't, right? Now is the time to buy. Now is the time to sell. Prices are at a high right now, right? And we're seeing inventory more than double since last year. There's greater choice. It's a great time to upgrade. It's a great time to have a change of scenery. Now is a great time to buy or sell. And if you want to talk more about that, I would love to email with you, to Zoom with you, to meet you for coffee. I'm located in Littleton, Colorado, Denver, but really I'm speaking to anyone around the nation. The market looks nothing like 2008. It is a great time to buy or sell. God bless you.